One of the highlights of the Dusseldorf Boat Show was the launch of Greenline's NEO range, and we're here in Southampton to test the first one in the UK. Now this boat comes with 3 distinct deck layouts. You can have an open, you can have a coupe with an enclosed deck saloon, and you can have this, the hardtop, which is sort of a mix of the two. And there are good engine options as well. They're all outboard. You can either have a pair of 250 horsepower Mercuries, like this boat has, a pair of 300 horsepower Mercuries, or even a pair of Torpedo electric outboards. And this boat with the 250s, hydraulic bathing platform and a bow thruster and a good spec comes in at £250,000, including VAT.
So as I said, this boat has got the twin 250 horsepower outboards. You could have the 300s, but I genuinely don't think you're going to need them. Performance with these is so smooth and potent. We topped out at 40 knots today, no problem, and this is a heavily spec boat. The other thing that's really enjoyable in this helm is the way it handles. It's really well sorted dynamically. And what I've really enjoyed is how much it leans, it heels over like a superbike. And if you really crank it in, it feels like I could just lean my head over and dip it in the sea. But at the same time, it's perfectly controlled. It never skips, it doesn't jump. It's a really easy boat to drive fast and have fun on. And at this speed we're doing now, which is 25 knots, we're consuming about 90 litres an hour. It's not too noisy. This is a really comfortable cruising speed, but you can hair along at 40 knots as well if you want to. One of the NEO's best bits is the driving position. On this hardtop version, you have a great mix of being protected by the hardtop, but also having completely open sides, so you have this great connection to the outside. You can hear the water rushing past, you can hear the engines, you feel like you're actually on a boat and driving it. And the driving position is excellent as well. You sit nice and high on these great seats, they're very supportive. Really nice to have 3 forward-facing seats as well. And though you can stand up, because all of them bolster, I haven't had to all day. It's one of those boats where the seated position is really comfortable. The dash is very clean as well. Most of the major controls are set within the Raymarine screens, but you have proper buttons for the likes of the windscreen wipers, the bilge pumps, etc. And there's some really nice touches, like the fact that you have a wireless mobile phone charging pad right here at the helm. One of the unique things about berthing the NEO is the fact that on most outboard boats you can actually see the engines, but because of the position of the sun pad at the back, the backrest, you can't actually see what position they're in, so it's hard to tell where the props are facing. So really they should fit a rudder indicator, which I think is something they're going to do. But that said, with twin engines and a powerful bow thruster, it's an easy boat to manoeuvre at slow speed. This distinctive bathing platform may be a £15,000 option, but it's well worth having. In this raised position, it means that you can step easily from the stern onto a quayside if you're berthed stern to. Protects the outboards as well, but also it goes right down into the water, meaning these teak steps create a nice shallow stairway right down into the water. It also acts as a bit of a stabiliser when it's deployed as well. Moving forward, there's more clever stuff going on. You can't help but notice how much seating there is on this boat. This cockpit is such a great party platform. You have your wet bar sort of in the middle of the boat, which means it's closer to the action, and under here you've got the usual sort of stuff, optional hob, sink, fridge down this end, and there's another fridge drawer under the seat down there. Now this hardtop version, as it stands, doesn't have an option to have some windows. The dealer here, Clipper Marine, have had some fabricated, which you could do, and I think down the line Greenline will probably make their own covers, because you're going to want a bit of protection if there's some breeze coming in on the beam. It is a bit of a shame that there isn't a hardtop sunroof option on this boat. There is on the proper coupe version, but then you have got open sides. And then we move forward to another really great part of this main deck. You walk through this area here and you're out onto the Fore Deck. And this is a really, really great spot
when the weather's as good as this. You can have the option to have a sun pad up here, which gives you a bit more space down below, but for me, this forward seating area is a really good option. Greenline hasn't lost its eco credentials with the Neo. These solar panels on the hardtop versions come as standard, and when twinned with an inverter, mean that you can use the boat's domestic supply without having to resort to a generator. Moving below decks, there are a couple of options down here depending on what you have on deck. So if you have the sun pad option up there, you have a bit more headroom and you also have a proper double bed. But with the seating on the fore deck, you only have space for a slightly shortened berth and a convertible V. Though to be honest, for a couple of nights, this will be absolutely fine. And the most important thing is you have a good sized head unit so that you have facilities if you're out for a long day on the water, and you can also shower in there. One of the downsides down here is natural light and also artificial light. There's no windows, there's no hatch, so it's already quite dark. And with only a couple of meaty spotlights, they could do with beefing up the artificial light down here. Greenline may have raised a few eyebrows when they announced that they were going to build an outboard powered sports boat, but they've done a great job with the Neo. It's fun to drive, it's versatile, it's incredibly intelligently laid out, and for £250,000, for the amount of fun you're going to have on board, it seems pretty good value for money as well.